So there's a lady named Angie Fenimore, who I met in the late 1980s and become quite good friends with. And she was with her husband in Okinawa, and they had two little kids, and she had just horrible postpartum depression. She just was totally depressed. And so she finally decides that she would end her life. And so her husband, who's in the military, is asleep, and her little kids are asleep, and she decides in her mind that they'll all be better off without her anyway. And so she slices up her wrists in the bathtub and goes off to the other side. And she has a life's review. We didn't talk much about life's review, but of course you and your listeners know that happens a lot. And one of the things that really struck her was that she thought her life had no meaning at all and that it was worthless. And she saw that from a very young age, her life had enormous meaning that she never even grasped. And one of the stories that she told was when she was, 3 or 4, really little, her mother took her to what then was an old folks home and what now would be, an assisted living center. And so she sang a song for all these elderly people, many of whom were in wheelchairs. And because this was her life's review and her near-death experience, she saw and felt the reactions and the emotions of the people who heard her sing. And she said, I was just doing this because I was a little kid. My mom told me to. But all the pouring out of love that these older men and women had who were seeing her sing, and the joy that it brought to them and the impact it had on their lives and how it made them happy for weeks after, all these things were things that she had never considered. And so she learned that the smallest little things in life, a smile to somebody on the sidewalk, or a little pep talk, or a thank you, or some other kind word, or small little deed that goes completely unnoticed, can have an enormous impact. And the value of our lives on the other side is probably very, very different than the value that we perceive that we have now. And all of our lives probably have far more value than we can imagine because of all of those small little things that we don't even grasp that we do for other people. And by the same token, if you're kind of a nasty, mean, crummy person, you probably, spreads out in the ripples in a bad way. So be a good person. It makes a difference. And the value of your life is probably far greater than you imagine.